no blanket.
Do you think
collapse on the lunar ice rink would still be floating in space when these three galaxies combine? I think it would.
All expression.
What? Stop! What?
Do you think we're gonna go back to the moon and Mars and stuff? But when we get there, just put a little hockey rink out there. I mean, it's freezing in space, right? Yeah, and no refrigeration is necessary. No refrigeration. Think about that. Yeah, I mean, imagine blue line blast just flying off into the nether regions of space, eventually puncturing an alien spacecraft. They track it down. They want revenge. They fly to the moon. They drop off. We get a little tussle, line brawl, Brahmas, aliens. Who doesn't want that?
Well, Gloves Off, Season 2, Episode 6. Chad Siewert and Sam Sequenzia here from Brahma Land, joined with special guests today, Ross and Marshall Von Erich. What's going on there, fellas?
How's it going, guys? Man? Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
gloves are off. We're here.
Your gloves. You always fight with your gloves off, though. That's
gloves off, boots off.
That's
no
right.
Glove
That's
or
right.
boots. Yeah.
That's right. So, I guess first thing out of the chute here, fellas. So you guys are continuing a very, very long legacy of wrestling, going all the way back to your granddad in the 1950s. I think he got started. Tell us, what was it like growing up in a wrestling family, and is it a foregone conclusion that you're going to be wrestlers, or did you kind of wrestle with that?
There you go. No, yeah. It was always a dream, growing up. My dad, uncles, grandfather, and we really respected my grandfather. He was like the general of the family, and I got to experience him for the first 5-6 years of my life, and they were inseparable. Me and my grandpa were, and it's crazy now. My son and my dad are like that. He likes my dad more than me, and it's cool though because he's a good babysitter.
Yeah.
But it's kind of all we knew. We grew up in locker rooms. My dad could have been a blacksmith, and I would have wanted to be a blacksmith. It's just something about a son following his family line of work, and wrestling is really all we knew. And as kids, we're in Walmart, whatever, we're always wrestling dad in lines, locking up. He's constantly teaching and stuff, and so it was just something we've always wanted to do. And then we pursued other things like football. I threw discus and played football. Ross also ran track, did the hurdles, and played football. And we were dreamers, so we always had high expectations. I thought I was going to be an NFL astronaut, something, cowboy Indian. I didn't know what it was, but something big. And then it ended up being wrestling. And so it's every day is a dream come true. I get to travel the world with my brother and see all these cool places. But what's crazier is that these are all places in my family has been going to buildings in the middle of Japan, in the middle of the country, and hearing my dad was there when he was my age, my uncle was there when he was my age, my grandfather was there.
Yeah, with the same questions, on their mind and heart, than we're having at that time, whether, we're struggling, to realize if this is where we should be or whatever it may be. They traveled this road before, and so it's kind of cool to come back from trips and then touch base with my dad, and you can kind of, he said he feels like he has his brothers back in a way, because we'll be sitting there talking and tell him about a road story that or wherever we just were, and he's like, "Oh, me and Dave were there when we were 25 and 26," and it's crazy. We get to reminisce. We definitely gotten closer with that since we've been wrestlers. Yeah,
it's funny. Your dad was, for those who don't know, that's Kevin Von Erich. Kevin is he's one of the most beloved sports figures to ever come out of DFW, because he was born. I don't know, were you guys born in Texas too, or?
Yeah, we both were.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he and of course, world-class championship wrestling, which your grandfather brought to the area. But Kevin was one of the most beloved sports figures. In fact, a previous episode, the last episode of Gloves Off we did was with Lisa Umbarger from the Toadies. Sam, were you able to get that audio or video worked out? Or
I think so. I'm going to get it. I've got it queued up here, and then I'm going to try and share my screen. So there might be a small
okay
here. Let's see.
Well,
Damn
he
the
does
man.
that.
He can pull up anything.
Yes,
Yes.
He's the tech genius.
He is. Okay.
Here
Thanks,
we go.
Sam.
We need one of those around here.
You
Oh,
should
look at
be able to see
Look
it.
at this.
And then
Okay.
here we
He's a
go.
handsome cat.
Genius.
Gloves Off
He is,
podcast.
okay.
We've got, of
Here we
course,
go.
Sam.
We need one of
Queen
those around here.
DFW rock and
You
roll.
should be able to
Lisa,
see
Look
it.
at
with
this.
us now.
And
Next
then
Okay.
here we
He's a
go.
handsome
guest,
cat.
the Von Erichs. How about that?
No way.
Wait.
Kevin?
Wait.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I don't know if Kevin is going to be on. It's going to be Ross and Marshall, but Kevin responded back to me this morning
No.
saying,
Not a great
let's do it. So if he's on,
I got a great Kevin Von Erich story.
love it.
So
All right, well,
he,
if
he
audio
brought his
doesn't
daughter
work,
out
I've
to a
got
show
the
at
story
Trees when
committed to memory.
record
Sam.
Oh, is there no
breaking, and
audio?
so it was
There's
insane.
no audio.
And
And-
he's
Okay, let me try this.
huge at that time,
Okay.
too.
Yes,
Crazy
he's
you guys can
huge.
do this.
And he
He
saw
saw that I was
There
getting
we go.
pulled as people were coming up on stage, and all the people who were, all the crew that were with Trees were getting pummeled. And so he came and sat in front of me and pushed people off the stage. So he was my personal bodyguard. And
Oh, yeah.
he's just the most sweet dude.
Yes.
Sent me a package, and it had pictures from him and a letter that said that he thanking me for being so nice to him and his daughter. That's how cool he is. I love that man. He's a good-hearted dude.
He is a great
Ah, nice word. So
That's
if-
so cool.
Unbelievable, man.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys for showing us.
I got chills from hearing that, man.
the first part of that we missed was that was at the height. She's the bass player for the Toadies. I'm sure you're aware of the Toadies.
Yeah. Heck
And
yeah.
My dad's still a huge Toadies fan.
Yeah, he's all to this day.
That's
huge
awesome.
Toadies fan.
That's awesome. And it was at the height of when they were really rising to their star power. And Kevin and I guess
My sister Kristen. I
yeah.
actually heard about that story.
Yeah, we remember that. Yeah, we remember hearing the
Really?
whole story from my sister when she got home, and
My sister said that she loved the Toadies, and my dad didn't know who they were yet, so he didn't want her to go to a concert alone. So he went with her, and my sister said within an hour she looked. My dad was on stage, and he was in a mosh pit, and he was pushing guys, and he's back off. He was like almost getting in a fight. He didn't know what a mosh pit was. And then my sister said guys were just flying left and right, and then he got escorted up to the stage.
yeah, they went into the back and all that stuff.
And so she'll never forget it. She was just a fan, and then she ended up going backstage and meeting everybody.
Yeah, my dad's been a fan ever since then, also.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wanted to ask you guys, how different is the wrestling style now versus that of like in your dad's heyday and the WCCW? I mean, it's changed, because I will say this: the first time I saw MLW here in our building, I was blown away. You guys are doing flips and stuff I'm like, I don't remember wrestling being that freaking acrobatic. So how has it changed over the years?
Back in the day, like you look at these guys like, Hulk Hogan and my dad, Ric Flair, all those guys, none of them were real hardcore wrestling fans, how wrestlers are nowadays. It's we were talking about that just the other night, but most wrestlers grew up being diehard wrestling fans. And back in
nowadays, this
generation. And back in the day, these were like, they were NFL players. They were, they just came from different walks of life. But we have that football background, and we were athletes before wrestling. And so we are, what we love about wrestling is that competitiveness, that storytelling wrestling, good versus evil, like my dad and the Freebirds would do. And it's changed a bit because there's so many flips, and there's a lot of that in wrestling. But what we're trying to bring back is that 80s, that smash mouth, just go out there and good versus evil, talk crap and fight.
Yeah, have no plan going out there, just beat the crap out of each other. We're athletes, we're men. Like,
so it's what it's what we do. And we don't like to pre-plan anything. We just like to go figure it out, go out there and listen to the crowd and just see where it goes. But there is, a lot of guys that like to plan every step, but we don't want it to look choreographed. We want it to look like a struggle and a fight. And that's my brother. If I see two guys on my brother, I'm gonna push the referee out of the way and get to my brother. It's pretty simple.
How did it feel when you guys were wrestled here at the NYTEX Sports Centre for the first time? I know that what the fans didn't see, or everybody didn't see, is I know that you guys stayed till almost like midnight signing autographs, and just people were wanting to take a picture with you and everything. How did that reception feel?
To say that was just a huge honor, passively to say it like that, it was just, what an understatement. I think the people feel that we genuinely appreciate them, and like they've seen my family's whole story. They've suffered with us, and like you just feel like they're genuinely happy for you. Yeah. And just to share that moment with them and just show them all the appreciation that we're able to, man, it's the least we could do.
I don't think a lot of wrestlers admit it, but when you're in the ring, you're pretty vulnerable. You feel you want people to like you. You want it to look good. We don't want to embarrass our family. That if we're just being real, our grandfather, uncles, they were great at this, and for us to we're honored and blessed to carry this name. And when we went back to Texas at NYTEX Center, it just answered so many questions, because that was MLW's first time, coming to Texas. And it's kind of like, okay, let's see if the Varner boys, if they're going to be received well. And it was just, man, when we first came out and got that initial pop, it was just, man, God bless Texas. We love Texas. Texas is, it's I don't know what we would do without Texas. And it's almost like a novelty. It's rare to have two guys that haven't been in WWE or whatever to have a foundation, a home state where we're loved. And we didn't earn that. It's just those good old Texans.
And there's nothing like it in all of wrestling. I don't think there was, back then when my dad were in there and uncles were in their heyday, and it's kind of carried over to us in a little way, and we still feel like we're just getting off the ground right now.
Yeah. And Texas watched our family grow up. They watched us through the trials and tragedy. They watched us triumph, everything. They've seen every bit of it. And so it's like Texas just feels like a real big family. If I'm ever anywhere in Texas, I'm home. I love Texas, and I always will. And I was so happy we did it at NYTEX Center. It was just, it was a perfect way to show MLW that we belong in Texas.
Absolutely. You definitely, MLW is definitely very popular here in Texas, and you're returning September 11th with another Fusion TV taping for MLW, match to be determined shortly. I know that we recently lost the championship belts to Los Parks. You got anything to say to those guys?
Oh yeah, I got a lot to say to them. Actually, I don't really want to say much. I kind of just, this guy was a legend. I looked up to him a lot, but to see how they won, we're not gonna make excuses and say that they cheated or whatever, but in the way that they won, if I would have won like that, I wouldn't have been too proud of it, and they seemed pretty proud of it, and so that part kind of sucked. And so I want to even fight with a real referee, and Tom Lawler, I don't want him to be a referee. That was he's a shady dude, and
filthy Tom Lawler,
pretty
right?
Fast. I don't want to make excuses because I'm starting to sound like I am, but yeah, Los Park. But we demand a rematch, and we've been asking for it for weeks.
Yeah, we just want those belts back, and and if they're the path to do it, we're more than happy to accommodate them.
Yeah, it would be a dream come true if we could fight Los Parks in Texas, because there's no way they're going to beat us in Texas with even if they pay a referee or have 5 guys in the ring like they had last time. Yeah, versus just us two. There's no way we'll lose in Texas.
Well, we hope that that's what happens. We hope to see the Von Erichs triumphant here in Texas. And there's still some tickets available at MLWTexas.com. There will be more amazing fights on the card. MLW, I'm telling you, I'm not the biggest wrestling fan. And the first time I saw it here in the building, I couldn't believe these guys are so athletic. It's out of control. It's not Andre the Giant holding some guy over his head and then throwing him to the ring. These guys are straight up almost circus performers. The level of flips and spins and the brutality.
That's what it is.
It's amazing to watch, and it's great family entertainment, and it happens here at NYTEX. In fact, because of your family, the NYTEX owner said, man, those Von Erichs, they're going to feel at home here at NYTEX. We should rename our building the NYTEX Sportatorium every time that
that would be freaking awesome.
That would be so
because now NYTEX has such a special place in our heart because they're the first venue to take the chance.
We have two just amazing memories from there. And so we're like, oh, we like that place.
Yeah, it's our that end when you're hot after your match, you go and you go in the ice skating room and just cool off. It feels great. It's the best venue. It's my favorite venue
by far.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys for being on our show and remind everybody, MLWTexas.com. Get your tickets while you can because it will sell out. Every show that MLW has done at Texas has sold out. It's been wall-to-wall people. And to be on the outside looking in, you don't want to be there. You want to be here at the NYTEX Sportatorium.
That's right.
September 11th.
Got a nice ring to it.
Your dad going to come up with you guys this time?
We're going to try to talk him into it. He loves the venue and he just loves being in Texas and stuff. And so, yeah, I want to try to get the old man to tag along with us. We're going to try to.
Well, we look forward to seeing you guys here. And once again, thank you so much for your time. And get to training and let's get those belts back, boys.
Will do, man. Thank you so much for having us,
Right on, brother.
Thank you, Sam, for being the tech guy and helping us get getting us encouraged in that video. That was awesome. We love the toadies.
Tell you what I'll do. I'll send you a clip of it so you can send it. You can share it amongst your.
Yeah,
my dad would love to see that.
My dad would love to watch
because I think you missed the front part where she set it up. She really did. You could feel the love in her voice.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. God bless y'all. Thank you guys so much
boys.
for having us.
We'll see you here in a few weeks.
All right,
you guys are all right. See ya.
Let's talk about one other thing. So obviously, you either live in a recording studio, or you are voiceover mic. That's your website, right? Voiceovermic.com.
Voiceovermic.com. Indeed, it is. Yes.
So you do, of course, baseball, football in the fall, hockey, and then you've carved out a little niche for yourself. What are you doing? Reading audiobooks?
Well, folks, write in and tell us what you think of a Mitchell Digby Blue Line Blast from the Lunar Ice Rink. And until then, I love you.
Davion.
Great job.
Awesome, man. Fuck that up. Okay.
And take two. Go.
All right, ready, man.
Any bomb a cigarette. Ask me for light. And night got death the quiet. Space sauce all expression. You're gonna play it. What are you doing over there? That's a really impressive Kenny Rogers. Yeah, it is. I know it all.
One bad arm, and while I'm driving, all those trophies.
You'll still be more efficient than me, brother.
Okay, I got it, guys. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best.
Thank you,
that ever
lads.
was. Love you, mean it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your day.
Barbasol contest. Something about shaving the beard. Okay. It'd be funny. I should shave it and then like nick it like 1,000 times. So I get like Def Leppard jeans. All right, here we go. Ready? And
Yeah. Okay. And take two. Go.
It is.
It's actually, we will be vague about who we're gonna fight. Yeah, you can be clever.
8! Brilliant!